Hi everyone, it's Nicole and welcome back to my channel. This is Flosstube number 2, May 24th, 2022. I had to think about what day this was going up. I am so very grateful for all of your kind comments on my first Flosstube. I know I mentioned it in several replies to comments here on my channel. I was really nervous to put that up since my channel is mostly card making or paper crafting, and that's what I'm known for. But this is a huge part of my life, and I thought it would be really fun to share, and I think it was probably a good call. So many of you say you cross stitch, you used to cross stitch, you love it, you know, or it inspired you to pick it back up, or you're a quilter, and it just really thrilled me. So I'm really grateful. Thank you so much. To anyone who found me just through Flosstube and are a new subscriber, welcome. I appreciate you, and I'm so excited you're here. I'm going to give a little recap, personal life recap, I guess, of the week. I will be time-stamping it down below just like I did last week. I know I heard from several of you that you really liked that, so you could kind of just watch the things that you're interested in. So that will be every single week. And then I did have a request to add a Q&A section, which the only reason I obviously hadn't was my first quilting and Flosstube video. But I didn't know what kind of response I'd get. So I will definitely be adding that today. Life updates. So the first thing, let me see, knee update on my surgery. So it's been about a week and a half, and it's been kind of up and down. I honestly didn't feel good most of last week. It was a really hard week, and come to find out, I'm supposed to be taking an aspirin every day, just to help combat blood clots, which I didn't really realize that was a thing with knee surgeries, but apparently it is. There's several kinds of surgeries, but knee surgery is one of those. And so I am, and I take it every morning first thing. The problem is I don't eat until noon. I have coffee in the morning, but I don't eat anything, and it caused me to be nauseous. And so I really didn't feel good most of last week until I realized that. And then I quit taking the aspirin first thing in the morning. I take it with my meal, and it's been a whole world of difference, so that's good. My knee is getting better. It is better. It's still so swollen, and it's hard to bend it, which wasn't really the problem before. I couldn't get it straight. And I do have my surgery report. My physical therapist finally did. I know they told me after the surgery what they did, but I was kind of out of it, and they didn't allow my son back there because of protocols for our world. And so I kind of wasn't, and the recovery nurse didn't really know everything they did. They knew what they might do. I had the list of what they might be looking at. Obviously, you don't know till you're in there. The MRI only tells you so much. So my physical therapist said that they actually found floating cartilage in 2 places. One back behind my knee, which was probably causing me not to be able to straighten it, so they removed that, and some underneath my kneecap, which also was causing me quite a bit of pain. So I'm glad they removed that. The Baker's cyst, they said, wasn't as full as what they thought. They actually, I don't think they even drained it because there wasn't hardly anything in it. So yay. They did do the lateral release where they push my leg down so it would be at 0, which I can still do. The bending, I can get it bent pretty good. It's just, it takes a lot of motion. And I'm doing my at-home physical therapy, and I'm going to physical therapy every single weekday. It just stinks, and I don't like the compression sleeve I have to wear on my leg. It bothers me, but I'm sleeping better. I hadn't been sleeping very good last week, and I'm sleeping a lot better, and I'm getting better every day. So I need to be patient, and I just need to keep doing my exercise. The other thing that happened last week, My poor dogs. So some of you probably know about Odin if you've been here before or have caught any of my card making lives. He's my 2.5-year-old Shih Tzu baby. And I had to take him to the vet. He was starting to develop some little sores all over his body, and they were flaky. And the bad thing is I also have a 12.5-year-old rescue Shih Tzu that we've only had about as long as Odin. So we got him when he was elderly already, and he has terrible skin allergies. In fact, so bad that over the last 6 months or so, he started losing hair, and the vet told me to think of it like male pattern baldness. He probably won't get it back. I mean, we do allergy shots. We've tried all kinds of medication. The thing that works the best is the prednisone, the steroid shot, or steroid medication, pardon me, but he can't take that long term. It's not safe. So we're trying a new oral medication, and we'll see. He's just the sweetest thing. He came to us kind of damaged. I don't think he was well cared for or loved. And so but you guys, the difference in him, I don't want to cry, from when we got him to now is just amazing. So we put up with his little flaky skin because we love him. But if anyone has any other suggestions, I mean, I feel like I take him to the vet constantly because I don't want him to be uncomfortable. I do think the new medication is starting to work, and our groomers are amazing. They take such good care of my boys. So, but Odin, so back to Odin. Odin's been great up until now, but he was getting flakes. And so I was like, does Brody have something contagious? He doesn't. They think Odin is developing allergies. And also, he had a double ear infection. I knew one of his ears was infected. It smelled. And so that's what I made the appointment for, that and the skin. But Odin is on an antibiotic, a steroid, and then we were getting him groomed the next day after I took him to the vet. So they gave me the medication that goes in both ears to give after he was groomed because it lasts for about a month, and it's like slow acting. And so he gets rechecked here in about a week for his skin, and then 2 weeks after that for his ears. I feel like I have little toddlers again, but they're just dogs. So that was a lot on top of all of the other. And then I guess the last couple things is Ethan is out of school. He's my youngest. He's 16. So last day of school was last Thursday. He's relieved. He really doesn't like school. So he loves it. Although football conditioning starts, he has this week off and he'll start next week. But he's enjoying this little bit of time off. And then the other thing is my boys, my oldest and my youngest, my daughter was out of town. They came over on Sunday. We tried this before, but we're going to try to re-implement it. We're going to do like Sunday family dinners. But my boys came over, and it was my belated Mother's Day gift because on Mother's Day, my oldest son had company. And so I just said, let's do it the next weekend, not realizing I would have surgery. So we couldn't do it last weekend, but he took me flower shopping, he bought the flowers, and then he does all the hard labor. But this year we had both boys did it. So we went and got flowers, they did all the planting, they moved the planters around, they cleaned it all up. And then I had one patio chair from the patio set I bought last summer. Brendan put the first one together last year, and he did it, but it was a pain, and it was so hard to put together. And then he just literally put off putting the other one together, and he was here and he was like, I need to put that together, don't I? And I was like, please, because I've tried and I just can't get it. And so he got it together for me, and then Ethan and I are going to power wash. Well, Ethan, I'll supervise, are going to power wash everything when it warms up a little bit later this week. So that is everything going on in my life. Let me see. I am going to do a Q&A section right now. Let me find all of my questions. I don't remember who asked this question. I did try to write down some of these, and I'm so sorry if this was your question. Someone wanted to know or have me share a fabric stash photo. I will do that. In fact, I will try to grab one either today or tomorrow and pop it up on my community page, and then I will try to include that in my next Flosstube video as well. So keep me accountable in case I forget. My next question, I also forgot to write down who asked this, is what is Stitch Mania? As I shared my Stitch Mania projects last week. Stitch Mania, from my understanding, this was actually my first year hearing about it. I think I heard Kimberly at Fat Quarter Shop talk about it last year and I ignored it because I was that was about the time I was just getting back into cross stitch. Stitch Mania was started, I believe, in a Facebook group several years ago. I don't even know how long. And it was a way to encourage people to stitch every day in May. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that the original intent was to have a new start every day in May, which just was too overwhelming for me with all the other crafting I do. And so I break it down into what works for me, which I have seen so many cross stitchers and floss tubers do. And I love that. I know some of start new projects every day. I like seeing that too. And I would love to get to the point where I could do that, because I probably have 31 projects. I have 31 charts I want to stitch, but I just think it's really cute. And especially if you make some of those smalls, you could potentially have quite a few and not have these ginormous projects outstanding forever. So that is Stitch Mania. It is just something to encourage you to stitch every month. If you are looking for more information, Fat Quarter Shop has some blog posts. I will try to grab those and put those in the comments below, not comments, the description below, for more information on it, because that's really where I got my information. I love to watch Kimberly's Flosstube video every Wednesday. I watch the replay. I don't watch it live, but I love to watch it when I'm stitching in the evening. I watch a lot of Flosstube when I stitch in the evening. So I would encourage you to do the same if it's something you're interested in. I will tell you, so that's Stitch Mania. I don't think there's anything for June. I mean, there probably is. I'm going to next week talk about what I'm going to do for June, but in July, Fat Quarter Shop does a Jolly July. Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop, her last name is Jolly, so she calls it Jolly July, which is so super cute. I've not participated in that before either, and I know I talked a little bit about it last week. I am going to be participating in that too, where you stitch Christmas in July. So I am going to do that. I'm going to pick a few projects. Right now, I think I have 4 to 5 that I will be doing. June, I'm thinking, is going to be, I'm just going to tell you this now. I haven't got a super set plan yet, but fall Halloween is kind of my plan. We will see. I may change that. I need to kind of finalize that this week. But that's the things coming up so far. In June, I may also stitch some Patriotic. I forgot to mention that. You'll see that a little bit later today, what I have planned for that. Question from Robin G. What do you do to your cross-stitch fabric to prevent it from fraying? I zigzag stitch mine with my sewing machine. Sometimes I start a project and I haven't done that, and I'll stitch a bit. Some fabrics fray more than others, and so I almost always zigzag stitch the edges. It just makes me feel more comfortable. I've been stitching a lot on the 25 count Lugana for my Primrose Cottage High Rules, and it frays pretty good. So I would suggest zigzag stitching. I think my mom used to masking tape edge hers, so that was way back in the day. So anything to just protect those edges. Stephanie wants to know if I would add a Q&A section to my videos. Yes, Stephanie, here it is. So if you guys have questions, leave them in the comments. I read every single one of your comments last week, and I tried to answer or respond to everybody's comment. So I think maybe I only have a handful left to answer. So thank you guys again, because it means the world to me. Amy wants to know where to start for cross stitching, and I think she said she was a cross stitcher and wants to pick it back up. My suggestion is a small. Pick something small and easy to do to just kind of get you back into it. And also maybe something kind of easy. I would not pick stitching on linen. I would not pick maybe even, something with tons of color changes. I'm going to show you some things that I'm planning here that I want to do for Patriotic to get those done for my Patriotic decorating. They're really easy. Primrose Cottage, in my opinion, has some really, really simple charts that would be great for starting or restarting. Fat Quarter Shop did, for brand new stitchers, Fat Quarter Shop did a Cross Stitch University, I want to say 8 months to a year ago. I don't exactly remember when. They did videos, close-up videos of how to stitch, different ways of stitching, because there is not one right way. There are several ways you can do that. I would recommend checking out their channel, their videos on getting started. They have free patterns if you just want something free. I know several other places have free patterns, but that is, I would start with something really small and maybe with not very many color changes. And Nancy Lynn wants to know where to learn about quilting. I feel like I'm a broken record. I am completely self-taught. So no one in my family quilted, or I knew that they quilted when I started. I did find out my mom's sister, my aunt, quilts now, and she kind of self-taught too. She belongs to a quilting guild and stuff, and she quilts. But same thing. However, my mom's mother, my grandmother, was a beautiful seamstress. She could sew all kinds of clothes, amazing, amazing clothes. And so I've always kind of liked to sew, but I read blogs and I started following my favorite designers, and I kind of went crazy when I started. I love fabric. It's the same thing as like scrapbooking and paper crafting. I love pattern paper, and to me they're very similar. The patterns really excite me. And so I read a lot of blogs, I read a lot of tutorials, and when I started, YouTube has exploded though. And there are so many video tutorials, but the broken record part is Fat Quarter Shop has they have a Flosstube channel for cross stitch, and then they have a quilting, their regular Fat Quarter Shop channel, and it's quilting. I would check it out. I would visit it. They have beginner quilting. They have up close. Kimberly shows you how to quilt things. She has guests on that show you things, and there's just a lot of information there that I think is invaluable to a first-time quilter. And watch all the videos, read all of the blogs or whatever, and start small. And I recommended this to someone else too. Maybe buy a kit. Fat Quarter Shop does a lot of great kits. Don't try to do something crazy hard for your first quilt. My first quilt ever was squares. It was like, I think it was a charm pack, and I did like some, it was a pattern I found. It was a free pattern, I believe, from the Moda, what is that name? Moda Bake Shop blog. I think I should bring out that and show you. I need to make a note. I should show you my first quilt if I can find it. It's not very good. I quilted it myself, but I remember being so proud of it and so excited about it. And then I think my second quilt was a quilt for my daughter, which I did a jelly roll, and it's strips. So don't think you have to do all the points and the flying geese and half square triangles and stuff for your first quilt. You don't. In fact, I would highly recommend just starting small or starting easy, pardon me, because you will like the results a lot better, and then just gradually build your skills. Okay, guys, I think that's all I have for question or Q&A this week. If you have questions, leave them below and I will answer them next week. Okay, I have no finishes this week. Mostly I didn't feel good, and I'm working on some kind of big projects. It's not should. I will have finishes next week, but I really want to share the finishing video kind of around the same time. I'm going to be finishing the pillows. So a lot of you really wanted me to do the pillow tutorial and the zipper tutorial. I asked if anyone would be interested. It was overwhelming. So that is coming, but I want to show several because I have quite a few little things I want to do. So I will have finishes for you. Why does my screen go black like that? I will have finishes for you next week. I am going to show you my WIPs, and these are all Stitch May-nia. I did not get much progress on one of them. We'll talk about that last, which is totally fine. Well, Hive Rules looks like it's up first, so let me grab the pattern, and I'll remind you guys, this is Hive Rules. I love it. Let me throw it back there in my bag. And I have made great progress on this one. Oh, well look, I've got some, apparently I have some stray floss in my bag. So I'm probably almost halfway done with this one. I plan to continue this in June and just get it done when I get it done, and then I'm going to share some finishing for this. I think I'm going to finish it myself, is my plan, but I absolutely love it. So I felt like finishing something quick, and I think I showed this last week. So when I was talking about doing something small, this is the bonus chart that comes with Hive Rules. So Hive Rules is pretty long. I do want to mention something, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this. They will only stitch like one of these little sections. So if you want to do a small, like a little small pillow or a little small finish, you totally could do that even with a big chart. Just break it into a small piece. But what comes with that, the Hive Rules, is this Welcome to Our Hive. And I was just feeling, I've been working on Hive Rules, but I knew I wanted to do this Welcome to Our Hive as well. And I wanted to have a quick finish. Plus I want to have kind of an oblong little finish because for my pillow tutorial. I have a couple of square finishes that we're going to do, and I'm going to show you custom pillow inserts for that, but I also wanted to show this. So I wanted to have multiple for that video. So I did get a good start on that, and I would say I'm almost halfway done with that, and I'll have that done in no time, and it's going to be part of the pillow finish. But isn't it cute? Welcome to Our Hive is what it's going to say. I literally stitched on this a little last night, quite a bit of it. I had a little teeny tiny start, but I stitched a lot last night. It's a very, very fast stitch. Next up, I have got the Fat Quarter Shop Heartfelt Stitch Along. This is a free pattern, again, from Fat Quarter Shop that they ask for a donation to Make-A-Wish for the use of the pattern. Many of, yeah, they're on release 4. I am not even close, but that's because if you saw my video last week, I switched it up. I'm not doing the colors, but I did get quite a bit of work really on this week, all things considered. I'm changing it to Patriotic colors to make a patriotic pillow. I'm loving it. I was only using about 4 colors, and then I did pick this kind of softer, kind of red, I don't know, because I couldn't figure out how to make this patchwork heart work otherwise, and I love it. So there will be touches of that throughout. That's slated to be worked on tonight and tomorrow, so hopefully I'll have a whole lot more to share with you on this. This is another one that I really want to get working on, get finished up, or get caught up so that I can finish it in time to enjoy for my Patriotic decor. Then also from the Fat Quarter Shop, I forgot, I don't have the pattern. I threw it away. That's okay. I am doing the Summer Home Stitch Along. and part 1, 2, 3. Part 4 came out last Friday. The last part comes out this Friday, and I'm all caught up. It did take me, since I wasn't feeling good, it took me Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to finish this. But isn't it cute? This also will be part of that pillow finishing tutorial. So this obviously will be a square. I'm going to do a Halloween pillow from one of the finishes I showed you last week, summer home pillow, and then also the little oblong welcome to our hive pillow. Now, this little heart isn't in the chart. I added it. So, my card making friends, you probably already know this. You know how I love adding little hearts to my projects. I know there's a heart up here. I added one for now. I want to see what the rest of the chart is, and then I think there'll be a couple more little hearts somewhere on this, but isn't it pretty? This is a paid for download from the Fat Quarter Shop. It's a mystery stitch along. I love it. I think it's really fun. So again, all links to those will be down in the description below. Oh, wonder where this came. I bet it's from the Welcome to Our Hive bag, my bee bag with all my bee patterns. Okay, my last Stitch Mania. So I had 4 main projects for Stitch Mania that I'm just kind of rotating. That also brings me to a point. Someone asked or said, you know, I only stitch one project. I've heard some floss tubers refer to it as being a monogamous stitcher. That is how I always used to stitch. And for me personally, I think it's why I stopped, because I lose interest after a little bit and I want to move on to something else. And over the last year of switching projects every couple days or so, it has kept me motivated, and I have finished more cross-stitch projects or charts than ever before, because I don't have a lot of finishes. That is my next goal, is to actually finish those projects. So that is why I switch, and I switch about every couple of days. Sometimes I'm really loving a chart, and so I just kind of, flip-flop. So I talked about, let me grab my chart. This is the hands-on design, chalk squared, a moment in chalk, which I love. I did restart it on the fabric. I hardly have anything stitched. I did share this on Instagram, so it's not even worth showing. It's kind of embarrassing, really, because I literally only have like a tiny, tiny bit of teal. I do like the fabric I switched to a lot better. I hope to get some good time on this. I just didn't. It's slated for weekend stitching, but I need to stitch it in the morning, and I just didn't have time. Saturday I didn't feel good, and Sunday I had stuff with my boys. So it didn't get stitched on really, but it will. I'm okay with that. A few stitches here and there, and you end up with a finished project at some point. So I'm going to talk about kitting next. Just a couple of new projects I've kitted or prepared for. It's kind of kitting and haul all together this week, but we're going to do kitting first. So the first thing is my friend Cassie Wilkerson sent me her Lizzie Kate charts to do Christmas rules and Halloween rules. So thank you, Cassie. I'm super excited. If you go on to 123 Stitch, they have, no, I lied. If you go to Lizzie Kate no longer creates or has her patterns. 123 Stitch owns the rights to them, and so they sell her patterns. But on LizzieKate.com, you can download the headers for Christmas rules and Halloween rules. It gives you all the instructions for how to stitch all of the little sections. I don't know if you saw, let's just grab a couple of these. So like for Christmas rules, each chart only stitches a little section. These are going to be super fast. So Christmas rules is going to be part of my Jolly July. And Halloween rules I'm going to add to June and probably beyond. I don't think these will take that long. They're a bigger project. It's going to be a lot like Hive Rules, where it's kind of long and skinny. Really excited to stitch these. I've been a fan of these for a while, so thank you, Cassie, for sending those. I will take good care of them, and I'm really, really super excited. I already bought all the floss and the fabric I'm going to use, and I have that in my haul, which I'll share with you. So Christmas Rules and Halloween Rules by Lizzie Kate is one of my it will be kitted as soon as we're done projects. Let's see. So that's my haul. From Fat Quarter Shop, I bought fabric. And this is, I know I mentioned it last week. I left a link for it down below. I used that Fat Quarter Shop calculator, cross-stitch calculator, to figure out my fabric, because I am loving the 25 count Lugana. I love stitching on it. That's what I'm using for Hive Rules. I'm using, I can't remember the color. It's white. It's whatever they're called for fabric was. But I bought a lot of it, and that's what I'm stitching all of my bee stuff on. I'll have leftover too, I'm sure. So because I loved it, I bought the Mushroom Lugana from Fat Quarter Shop, and I bought a pretty big piece because I want to stitch some other stuff on it. But you need to figure out your finish size so you get the right size fabric. And so this is, it doesn't look good in the plastic. Let's take it out. So this is Mushroom Lugana. I've heard so many people talk great things about it. I've stitched on the 25 Lugana, just not this color before, so I think it'll be amazing. I'm really excited to stitch Halloween Rules and Christmas Rules and lots of other things on it. And then I bought all of the fancy flosses for both charts. So I'm ready to go. We're going to kit that out and we will be totally ready to go. All right, and Cassie's note to me, I'm going to move that there. And then the final thing that I'm working on kitting, and this is what I was talking about, which would be a small start that would be really amazing if you just want to do something small to get yourself back into it. I started getting out like my Patriotic decor, and I have that one heartfelt pillow I'm working on. I have a flag pillow I'm quilting. I did get a little sewing done on that. And then I have a quilt in progress, a quilt I've done. I probably have more Patriotic quilts I'd like to do in the future. But for my small decor, like tiered trays and little things in my kitchen, I wanted some little square pillows. And so I downloaded these Primrose Cottage United We Stand. So it's a tiny, okay, I keep doing it the wrong way. It feels awkward. United We Stand. These are all going to be a small square finish. Established 1776. And land that I love. So I just printed these off. Honestly, I buy the download version so I can print it off and I can print the chart off huge. It helps me see it better. So I am going to do all three of these. I honestly think these will probably be a one evening each. And then I am going to do a finish. This will be a separate finish video because I have a really fun idea that I hope works out. So, but I am going to be finishing all of these because I have a little truck that I think one of the pillows will sit right in the back of, and I don't know. I think it'll be cute. I'm really excited to get these done. This is going to be my first start when Stitch Mania is over, or maybe even during, who knows. Sometimes I just need a change. But these would be amazing. 4 colors of DMC. They're all the same for each. I was kidding. In fact, I wanted to see. Oh, these are stitched on 25 count vintage country mocha. I don't know if that's what I have. I think I may use the Mushroom Lugana, just a little bit for each of these. I haven't decided. It needs to be something kind of tan. I do have some vintage country mocha. I just don't know if it's 25 count. I could use the calculator. If I use something else, it might be a little bit smaller, just a tad, which is fine. But I was looking through my stash. This is the only color I had. I know this is super old because I do not keep my floss like this anymore. But I need to go pick up the other 3 colors. I'm sure I have the white somewhere, but it's kitted in something else, and white gets used so often. So I'm just going to go get a few more. So that's all of my haul. Not a lot. Oh no, it's not all my haul. That's all my cross stitch haul. I'm going to show you one more haul item. So Camille Ross Kelly, she has a line of fabric. If you don't know, you probably do, with Moda Fabric. She's one of my all-time favorite designers. I love her quilt patterns. I love her fabric. I have tons of it. I talked about my love of it last week. I'm using some of it in one of my quilt alongs. I just love it. She's amazing, and I just find so much inspiration from her. So kind of back to where to start quilting, I started following her. She's one of the first I started following. She and her mom used to do it together. Her mom just retired within this last year. And she's one of my all-time favorites, and I love her fabric. So on Instagram, she posted that she had her new fabric line that I believe doesn't ship till November. It's called, I don't want to say the wrong thing, Dwell. It's Dwell, which she has patterns, I believe, that are Dwell. I think I have at least one of those. She had scrap bags of that fabric. Well, I just purchased it on a whim, and it came like within 2 days. So cute. So she included this cute little thimble sticker. Isn't that cute? And then this is the fabric bundle. And it's all scraps. I will do something fun with it. I do think it's probably going to go really well with her line that's coming here really soon. I think I pre-ordered that because I love it. It's a lot of blues and greens and things, but a lot of blues. But I thought some of this would go with that. Plus I thought I could maybe do some fun scrap projects. And it's a lot. It was way more than I thought. So it's a ton. Beautiful. So this is Dwell. And I'm really excited to maybe create some fun little things with that, and maybe even share some scraps of that after I have sewn with it. So that is all of my haul for this week. Let me see what we got next. I have no quilting finishes this week. I did forget to show you guys my Bats and Booze quilt last week, which is still not totally finished. I need to add the binding, and it's not close, so I'm not going to grab it, but I will share that next week. I'm hoping to have the binding on it, and you can see my spring brick blossoms that I shared last week with the rainbow flying geese. I cut all the excess off the borders. I've got my scrappy binding. I'll show it to you. I talked about it last week, but I didn't have it out. This is my leftover scrappy binding. I just didn't feel like it. I even started clipping my binding on, thinking I would do it and get it done, and I just didn't feel good. So I didn't do that, but I'm hoping to have that. I'm sure I probably will have that. It's first thing on the list. Done for next week's Flosstube. Plus, I should have quite a few blocks shared. I know the Riley Blake Mystery Quilt Along, the last block was released last week. I'm still behind, but I did get 3 blocks sewn for that. But I'm hoping to get quite a few more done and kind of get my plan for finishing to share with you within the next week or 2. So yay for that. And I'll have quite a bit more quilting to share. Like I said, I just didn't feel great, and sitting and cross stitching was a lot easier than quilting. So no finishes. Let me see. I am going to do what I did last week. I'm going to flip my camera around, and I am going to show you the blocks I sewed. Plus, I was so grateful. Brenda left me a comment and told me that one of my corners was wrong in a block, and I'm going to show you I fixed it. I fixed it that day. So Brenda, thank you. I am so grateful you told me. If I had sewn that into my quilt, I would have been so ticked, because after, it was just glaringly obvious. So if you guys ever see that, please tell me. Thank you. I am very, very grateful. We're going to flip the camera around. I'm going to show you my blocks, and that is going to be about it for today. Okay, so the only quilt along that I got any work done on was Riley Blake. I sewed, let's actually do this. Okay, I showed those last week. However, I wanted to share this one. This was the one I fixed. This was the Daisy Chain Block by Lori Holt. This corner was opposite, and I actually had to kind of unpick all of it and flip it and fix it. So now it is correct. Brenda, thank you again. I am so grateful because I would have been very upset if I had finished my quilt and saw that mistake. So that was my fix. And then I did end up getting all 3 blocks that I had cut fabric for stitched, which I was glad about. This is the On Point Hourglass. And you will notice my version is super, super scrappy. That is completely on purpose. I have noticed that in these blocks, I'm liking the scrappier look. And these are all Camille or Bonnie and Camille fabrics from Moda. And lots of different collections. I know Sunday Stroll was my initial fat quarter, but I have pulled from all over for this. So this is kind of my red, green, pink. That's On Point Hourglass. Garden Charm. This went together so fast. So pretty. And this is like some aquas, greens, and blues. I did this little print in the center so you could get a lot of it. And then got our little green and our little aqua gingham. And then my background is this white on white. And finally, we have the links, which I really hope that there's not a mistake in this. I'm going to look back at it now. This actually came together really fast as well. And I used that same little color. These blocks probably won't be next to each other in the quilt, but just kind of greens, reds, blues, no aqua in this one. So those are the 3 blocks I got finished. I have high hopes this weekend to do a whole bunch more. I actually have a lot of quilting to do this weekend as I'm feeling a lot better, and so I can kind of get back to my normal. The only other quilting project I worked on is this little flags that I said I'm turning into a pillow. And I just wanted to share, I have a couple of rows put together. This actually goes together really fast, but the pieces are super teeny tiny. And I forgot to mention this last week when I was sharing that I had all this cut. I have cut all of my strips wider, and after I sew them together, I trim them down. And that way I'm ending up with much more accurate blocks. When you're piecing all these teeny tiny little pieces, sometimes they don't line up the way you want. So I'm hoping that that is going to help. There's going to be a little sashing in between each here. But I'm hoping to have this done, and then I'm going to show you how I finish a pillow. I know I'm going to share finishing some little mini cross-stitch pillows, but this is going to be more of a little standard throw pillow, and I'm going to share a video tutorial on how I finish this as well, in case anybody is interested. So that is my quilting this week. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining me today for Flosstube number 2. I am making some plans to probably offer some giveaways soon. I want to kind of get some good giveaways for you guys, so bear with me, but definitely that will be coming soon in my Flosstube videos, because I know that that's kind of a staple of Flosstube, and I have some really fun ideas. I hope you guys will like it. Anyway, so thank you for joining me. Thank you guys so very much for your kind comments. If you have any questions at all about quilting, cross-stitching, drop me a comment down below. I would be happy to answer it. Happy to share anything that I can. I am by no means an expert in either. I just really enjoy it. I enjoy sharing, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying it as well. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you next week. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to click the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new video. Thank you so much for joining me for Flosstube, and we'll see you next week.